Welcome everybody. It's just gone 2 o'clock. I put some music on to try and kill time. Nikki Preston isn't with us at the moment. She seems to have a technical issue, but we'll plod on, and if Nikki actually comes on air, then obviously we'll talk to her with baby Oliver, no doubt. Want to use today as an opportunity to praise certain people. People that have made DSD work against some difficult circumstances. And what I want to do in future Hangouts is to make this a regular thing. So if you know of somebody that has done extremely well with DS, and I'm not just talking about sales or money, but actually making it work against difficult circumstances, whether it be home, health, location, whatever, then get their details across to me, and I'll give them a mention. We all, when we start DSD, come up against problems. Usually it's because we can't quite, and I was as guilty as anybody else, but usually because we can't quite grasp what it is that dropshipping is and all the complexities to it. But if you add the fact that not only have you got to deal with that, but also deal with your location being an issue as well, then DSD becomes twice as difficult, and many people would drop out under those circumstances. A member of my team, who I know very well, Sandra and I know very well, a guy called Duash. He lives in Portugal, and I hate to admit it, but we actually met in a bar. He works in a bar called Vertigo in Albufeira. And whilst we were there last time, we were chatting to him and ended up talking about DS domination. And he joined. And as another member of my team will know, that if you live outside the UK, America, Germany, then DSD is not impossible, but there are more hurdles to go through. And he had problems because Portugal doesn't have its own Amazon. The nearest Amazon is in Spain, but that doesn't deal with all the goods and items that you and I are used to. It actually only deals with books. So he had a real problem. Anyway, going on now 6 months since he joined. He's persevered. Sandra and I have helped him a lot. So has another person who we're going to mention in a minute. And through his own dedication, he's actually made it work, and he's now selling in the UK. I think he's a great example to the rest of us that when you come up against an obstacle, don't just give up. Find a solution. And his obstacle was huge. He couldn't trade, couldn't drop ship in his own country. He had to go outside to the UK or America, and I think eventually he'll conquer America as well. But so I'd like to give Duash a big mention for the time and effort that he's put in. And somebody that helped him along the way was somebody that actually had this same issue probably 6 months before him, and that's Annalise. Annalise lives in Lanzarote, had exactly the same issues, but she overcome them, and she found a way around them, and is doing extremely well. And she's selling in America and the UK. And I think she'll be the first to admit that when she first started, she would not have expected, with all the problems she was having, to be where she is today. And not only is she getting sales and making money, but she's looking forward now to moving up to the next level, which is elite, which is absolutely amazing. And also she's convinced her very skeptical husband to do DSD as well. So it was a win-win all round, and so congratulations to her as well. But as I say, it's a lesson to all of us that if you come up against problems, don't just give up. Look for a solution. There is always a solution. And the beauty with DSD now, it's just celebrated its 2nd year. There are loads of people that have gone through similar problems to what you've had. So if you don't know what the solution is, ask, because you can guarantee that somebody somewhere has had a similar or exact problem that you've had and found a way around it. So don't be afraid to ask. So congratulations on those two. And like I say, I'm sure there are many, many other people out there who have conquered problems that the rest of us may have given up on. Let me know who you are, or nominate somebody for a quick mention on DSD Thunder, because these people need to be recognized and need to be congratulated for what they do, because they spur the rest of us on. A funny story, well, a strange story actually, that happened to me yesterday, or day before yesterday actually. I sold a water feature. No big deal in that. It started off where a guy contacted me and asked for the dimensions of this water feature. So I duly sent them. This is all via eBay, by the way. And I sent him the dimensions, and within minutes, I got a sale, same guy. And he bought the item, and I duly sorted it out and arranged for it to be dispatched. Same day after he'd ordered it, he contacted me again through eBay wanting to know the dimensions, and once again I gave him the dimensions. I then got a third message from him demanding to know the dimensions, or he would cancel the order or fail to take delivery, and he gave me a telephone number. So I rang this telephone number and got no answer. So I went back onto the eBay message system, left a message on there to say that I had contacted him but got no answer. Then he contacted me again and gave me a telephone number, which, except for one digit, was exactly the same as the original, but I didn't pick up on the fact that there was a difference. So I rang this number and once again got an answer phone. To cut a very long story short, about 10 o'clock that night, on Tuesday night, I get a phone call, and this is where it gets a bit spooky. Guy contacts me and he says, you're trying to contact me about an eBay order. So I says, yes, that's right, the water feature. So he said, no, I've ordered a laptop. So I said, well, not from me, because I don't sell laptops. So I said, I've been having correspondence from you about water feature. And he went, no, I've been talking to somebody about a laptop. Anyway, this went on for about a couple of minutes, and we both had to agree that somewhere on the line there was a cross line. But how spooky is that, that I get a wrong number, be it only just. If you saw the numbers side by side, you would think they're identical. They were that close. And when I ring the wrong number, it is also to do with an issue with eBay. He is the seller, he is the buyer, I am the seller. Anyway, yesterday I marked the item as being dispatched, and this buyer contacts me again, the original buyer this is, and says once again, if you don't send me the dimensions, I will cancel the order. So I have to say that I was getting a bit cheesed off now, because if most normal people, if you're going to place an order, you get all the information first, so that the item that you want is the one that you order. So again, he left me the telephone number, which is when I spotted that it was slightly different to the second number he'd given me. So I rang the number this time, and this time I got an answer. And I said to him, I says, I've already sent you the dimensions 3 times through the eBay messaging system. So if you have a look at your messages, you'll find them. And he just went, oh, well, yes, I've seen those. It says, but I just wanted to make absolutely sure. So I have to admit that my customer service went out the window. And I just said to him, I says, look, I don't take kindly to being threatened. I says, but at the end of the day, if you don't like the item that you've ordered, then you can send it back. And he said, well, how do I send it back? So I says, well, as long as you don't use it, bearing in mind it is a water feature, I says, then eBay policy is that you pay for the return. So he said, well, how much is that? So I says, well, I don't know. It depends what courier you use. So he says, well, I'll probably like it. And at that point, I had to bite my tongue and just thought, yes, I hope so too. The item arrives today. I'm expecting a phone call because obviously he's now got my number, and we shall watch this space. So one of those things. The other thing I wanted to mention was guests for this Hangout. This Hangout can only exist if we have people within the DSD Thunder team taking part. That's the reason it was set up. This is not a training video. There'll be little bits and pieces of information going in, but it is not designed as a training video. It's about meet the team. And it's very important, if this is to continue, that we have regular guests. Now, I've got guests lined up for the next 2 or 3 weeks, but then it goes quiet. And it would be nice, other than keep repeating the guests, which is good because we can play catch up on what happened since they were last on, but it would be nice to have some new faces. I can assure you that I don't bite. Anybody that's seen these Hangouts before will know that it's all done light-hearted and sort of very relaxed. But it is important that we do these. Otherwise, it may be necessary to drop these to once a fortnight or once a month. I don't particularly want to do that, but there's no point in boring you to tears with just me on if there's nothing else interesting to talk about. So if you have anybody, if you know of anybody that wants to come on, then point them in my direction. If you personally want to come on, it doesn't matter how long or how short you've been with DSD. We want to know about you, your experiences with DSD, your success, your horror stories, and how you overcome them. So anything and anybody can actually come on this. So you don't have to be a big seller. You don't have to be superb at DSD. You don't have to be an old timer. There's enough of that with me on. But it does, so you can be new. You could be with DSD a week, a month, a year, 2 years. But if you want to take part, then please contact me and see if we can agree a date for you to come on. If 2 o'clock is too early for some of you, I'm quite happy to do the occasional hangout in the evening. I know that when we have our American friends from Freedom Fighters taking part, I do need to reconsider doing these in the evening to make it more convenient for them, because otherwise, as you've probably seen from some of the other hangouts, that they're on their time at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, which isn't really fair. I hope Skip Foster isn't watching this, because he'll encourage me to change the time. Skip, as you probably are aware, does the Freedom Fighters Friday video. Try saying that when you've had a few beers. And he's coming on towards the end of September, and it's 9 o'clock his time. And I must admit, I'm looking forward to that because he seems quite a character. So we're trying to get as many interesting and normal people on as possible. And if you're interested, let me know. If you know of somebody that might be interested that for whatever reason can't contact me, maybe they're not friends with me on Facebook, then again, let me know. And we'll do our best to slot them in on a date that suits them. And that's really it. Nikki's obviously got issues, whether her son has got problems, but there's not much point in me waffling on anymore. Remember, this is bank holiday weekend, so sales should increase. Get those listings up, and I hope your sales go really, really well. I've had a very strange month for August. Started off well, went very, very quiet, except for the odd sale through the middle part of the month. And then the last 3 days has gone mad. I'm hoping that's a good sign for the weekend. But I know that others are having the same problem for August. And I think if I remember rightly from August last year, it was very, very similar. But then there's September coming up, and then it's the countdown to Christmas. And I'll be doing a special hangout dealing with Christmas, probably towards the end of September, to just give you some advice. And I made certain mistakes last year, which I won't be making this year, and I'll be explaining them and to make sure that you can avoid them as well. So have a good weekend, enjoy the bank holiday, hopefully with the weather will be good, and see you next week.